Okay.
Hey, are we doing audio? We're doing, okay. You mind helping me out, Stacy?
Hey, Rick, thanks for that. I got on the guy immediately.
Yeah.
This morning it was working.
Yeah, it would.
I said, he said, whatever the service was, the battery had died. I said, for kidding me, a battery died and we're not answering the phone. I said, do not let, so. I mean,
Hey, I'm the president. Yeah, this morning I went in and I said, okay, well, let me go ahead and call it.
Thank you, it worked, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Here's this. Oh, right, you got one up
Doing
there.
good, how about you?
Okay.
Doing good.
How are you doing today?
How are you?
Good, good.
Prediction on the game this weekend?
You know, it's gonna be weird starting out with an SEC
More
game
days?
like that.
We're gonna
Yeah,
run
yeah.
six,
And have a roll without being.
We're gonna run through it right now.
You
You
know,
got stuff going on, making sure fires.
I feel good. I don't know
We got something for-
what may happen with that. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
Still doing.
And see the line.
Still about doing.
Well, I mean, everybody's happy about Lane Kiffin, so I got my daughter got us, so we got a schedule with Lane Kiffin on it. Our house showed up, so we're gonna do it.
Yeah, tree, yeah. I got you. Right. Uh-huh. There you go.
Test, test. Yeah.
Hot mic. So Brian is not coming. No? So it would be on. Yeah, we want to, that's fine. They just want to. That's fine, thanks.
Casey, the current zone they're working, that map is up for the current zone.
Yes.
But
And I
not
can-
the other ones.
Sorry, I meant to print that out for you too, if you want to see. I don't want it on.
Does someone mind doing a mic check for me, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, if you could run this up there and. Wonder if someone got- It kind of sounds like someone, they're sharing the same signal.
See this?
Yeah.
So it's like off
It's the one without a mic flag on it.
trail. So this side, Spanish
Okay, so
trail
it's the
right
north
here,
part.
and then,
Yeah, that's also
okay, yeah.
basically north. I say those are the three areas.
That's what we're doing, that's what we started with yesterday, yeah. And I think they're continuing through those today.
Good
But
idea.
I would just remind
Let me
you.
put it higher for you.
Yesterday, I mean, we're gonna be doing several different houses, and this is gonna be ongoing. So if they don't get your stuff the first time, they'll get it the next time.
This one?
It doesn't have a mic screen, a windscreen, I don't think.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on.
Yeah. Those are hard.
Then you'll let me.
No, I just, yeah, do that for now.
Okay.
I hope that's gonna.
Tim.
There you go. You want a mic check? You go back and look.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
We're gonna have to have one of those chairs put up here where we can.
Ready, Dan?
Hand it through to us.
I'm giving him a mic check real
Keep
quick.
writing on here.
Okay.
Tried to-
Dan, you ready for mic check?
I thought it was gonna be late, so.
Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10.
You're welcome. Like that shirt.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
It's all about Florida right now.
Right.
Rick asked me what the line was gonna be this game, on the weekend, the game this weekend. So.
Ole Miss is always tricky.
Our new family rivalry with my daughter there, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. We were planning to go when the game was gonna be in October.
Right.
but Obviously now.
Yeah.
Ready? Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Janice Gilley, Escambia County Administrator, Escambia County, Florida. This afternoon, I have with me Marie Mott, Director of the Department of Health, the Mayor of the City of Pensacola, Commissioner Robert Bender, and Todd Thompson, who is the Executive Director of the Pensacola Area Chamber of Commerce. As we decompress our response operations, I want to let you know that all of our pods are now closed as of September 22nd. And there is more infrastructure returning, in terms of grocery stores, utilities, things like that. And so there will continue to be feeding resources in the community, and I will mention those. But I did want you to know that our pod sites were able to service 36,074 vehicles. And then roughly we were able to provide 58,991 cases of water, 36,659 MRE boxes, and 21,000 ice bags. We do still have some more commodities that are available, and we will continue to provide those to communities as we continue to go throughout the recovery based on need. We have had over 40,187 meals provided throughout the community, and we do still have tarps coming in. They are being provided throughout the community, and as a matter of fact, today there were some provided in the Carver area in Cantonment, and also Molino, as well as Beulah. The shelter did close at noon today. The Red Cross worked with those that were displaced to help find them alternative locations. We are continuing to have feeding, as I mentioned, by the Salvation Army, the Red Cross, Mercy Chef, and then also there is an opportunity for you to have a drive-through for a meal at Olive Baptist Church, and that's from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. this afternoon. We are still under a curfew on Perdido Key, and that extends until September 24th, and that is from 10 p.m. at night until 6 a.m. in the morning. As we're moving to our recovery mode, I want you to know that, as we've been mentioning, all of our partners are closely working together: the state, the federal, the city, and the county. And those preliminary assessments are still continuing to be done. This is, as I mentioned yesterday, these assessments are constantly communicated through the state to the through the state to FEMA, and then it is also relayed to the White House and the President. So to date, our assessments have determined that there are $182.6 million worth of damage to the city, the county, the school district, and ECUA facilities. I did just get off the phone with Director Jared Moskowitz with FDEM, and he did assure me that he feels extremely confident in us getting a major declaration this week. The county is looking to coordinate a meeting with the cities of Gulf Breeze, Pensacola, and the National Park Service and the Santa Rosa Island Authority, and hopefully FDOT, to talk about ferries or other types of services for the beach. As many of you know, it is a long way from our community all the way around to Santa Rosa Island. And we have a lot of residents and we have a lot of workers that are just not going to be able to spend hours and hours in traffic for a long number of months. So it's important that we all work together and coordinate that effort. Another thing that I'd like to continue to share with you is that we need you to review your insurance policies. It's for your protection. Hopefully you have already been taking your photos, submitting those photos, and recording that information that you need to protect yourself and get recovered in your own home. If you need assistance with debris cleanup, we are still having folks that are here. They are taking your information, and they will get to you as soon as they're able to in your community. And they're able to help you with debris cleanup, what you call mucking, tarp installation, and also mold remediation, which is something that we all know will be coming down the road. So one of the groups is called the Crisis Cleanup Group. They're available at 800-451-1954. And then we also have the Florida Disaster Relief Fund. Those folks are available at 904-253-9924. We would ask you, as the weather continues to change, please continue to monitor your radio or your local news to protect your safety as you're doing cleanup. Contractor scams. We've all tried to provide you this information, so I do hope you will heed this advice. Contractors can easily be checked out by contacting the Building Inspections Department by building inspections at myescambia.com or at 595-3509. We also would ask you to consider looking at the Department of Business and Professional Regulations at myfloridalicense.com or at 850-487-1395. And then, of course, the price gouging that we continue to warn you of. There are hotlines related to that. In Escambia County, you will be allowed to use a personal recreational vehicle to reside on your property while it is being repaired or replaced. You must get a permit from the county, and to get that, the phone number is 595-3475. And then in terms of debris, of course, we will all ask for your patience as we all try and remove the debris from our roadways. Vegetative debris is important, construction and demolition debris, appliances, electronic waste, household hazardous waste. All of those are areas in which we can help you remove that debris from the right-of-way, but it does have to be properly placed on the right-of-way. We have many graphics to share with you. There are also videos that we will be providing on our website and other places. And it's important that you do stage it in the right way. That way it gets picked up when they come by for the first pass. One of the other things we ask is that you please do not place debris within 4 feet of mailboxes, water meters, or hydrants. And at this time, I'd like to ask Miss Marie Mott if she'd like to come and speak. She's the Director of the Department of Health.
Thank you very much. Marie Mott, Florida Department of Health in Escambia County. I just want to remind everybody that our client services and our COVID testing services are resumed and fully operational. Information about those services, locations, and hours can be found at escambiahealth.com. For those who need to schedule or reschedule an appointment, they can call our appointment scheduling line at 850-595-6554. That's 850-595-6554. We also have mobile immunization strike teams in the community providing hepatitis and tetanus vaccines, and mobile environmental health strike teams in the community providing education and assessments on water, sewer, mosquito, and other environmental health hazards. I'd like to remind everybody to avoid unnecessary exposure to floodwaters and stormwaters and avoid injuries and animal bites and scratches. If you experience any of these, I recommend seeking immediate medical attention and considering any vaccination needs you may have, such as tetanus, hepatitis B, or also needs for hepatitis A vaccination. Please remember also to stay away from animals that are not yours and keep your animals vaccinated against rabies. If you have a private well, or if you are still on a boil water notice, which I think are very limited at this point, please remember to boil, bleach, or bottle your water to protect against waterborne diseases. That is, bring your water to a rapid boil for at least 1 minute. Add 8 drops of regular household bleach per gallon of water, or use a safe supply of bottled water. If you have a private well, you also should consider getting your well tested. And for information on how to do that, you can call our environmental health office at 850-595-6700. That's 595-6700. And now I'd like to turn over to Commissioner Bender.
Good afternoon. I'm really just here we want to get through this because we have a budget meeting tonight, but I just want to say we are still here for you all. We were out delivering tarps. I know Commissioner May was out feeding and getting tarps and things that people still need. As Administrator Gilley mentioned, we are looking to have a discussion with our Escambia, Santa Rosa, City of Gulf Breeze, City of Pensacola, FDOT, and operators of vessels that could have a ferry system set up. Of course, we are still evaluating the infrastructure to support those, and I just ask for some patience as we work through it. But do know that we are working through that to get it out as soon as possible and help alleviate the traffic gridlock in the detour of Garcon Point. Now I'd like to introduce Mayor Grover Robinson, City of Pensacola.
Robert, thank you. First off, I want to thank Casey Lagarde for being here yesterday for me. She does an excellent job for us, and she's probably a lot better to look at than I am. But I'm here today. We had council meeting yesterday. I want to emphasize again, all of us are working together, and we ask for your patience. Please continue to contact us if you have things that you need us to know, and let us know. We'll tell the proper either utilities or the city departments so that we can work with you to get something done, but we ask for your patience. There's a lot of work being done right now, and we want to communicate that. All of the city's 92 signalized intersections are working, and all city roadways should now be open. All major stormwater ponds have been pumped down successfully, and stormwater pipes and inlets are currently being cleared by city crews. If you have a manhole or an opening, gutter opening at on your corner of your house, please help us remove any debris from that area. We greatly appreciate your assistance, but we are continuing to monitor those and continuing to clear those. Damage assessments to city buildings have been completed. The current damage assessment of facilities is approximately 10 million. City parks and recreation facilities are currently being assessed for damages. All 353 trees that were blocking roadways have been cleared. If there's a downed tree blocking your street within the city limits of Pensacola and it has not been cleared, please call Parks and Rec at 850-436-5670. 436-5670. All city community centers have been assessed for damages, some of which are now being used to house volunteers. Also, along with Osceola Golf Course, damage assessments will continue this week. Now that all reported trees have been cleared from roadways, Parks and Recreation are turning their attention to cleaning up parks and athletic fields, along with working to get the community centers back open. Damage assessment of parks and recs and waterfront assets are currently taking place. Preliminary damage assessments are expected to be completed in the next 24 hours. The current park estimate at this time is approximately 10 to 12 million, as above the 10 million for building facilities. The city staff went to FEMA's damage assessment team today, and we'll go out again tomorrow with additional damage assessments. The city distributed over 1,000 tarps Sunday at fire stations 1 and 6, and then Monday had several community centers. I believe, I didn't see Eric, I believe those are still going on at this particular time. We are working through those, the same ones that we had talked about before. Private property damage assessment is currently at $15 million in the city of Pensacola, but has continued to be assessed. Of a total of 15 crews, 10 city and 5 contractor crews began debris removal yesterday. More crews will be added later this week to expedite debris pickup. As of last night, we picked up approximately 4,000 cubic yards of yard debris. We are working with the contractor on a debris pickup schedule, and we will release the maps as soon as they are finalized. We posted maps of the current areas that are being serviced by the city of Pensacola on our Facebook page, so you can go there and find that information. Please be patient with us as we work through areas for the city for debris cleanup. If we do not pick up your items on first pass, please push items to the curb and we will get them on our next pass. For information about how to sort debris, please visit cityofpensacola.com or City of Pensacola's Facebook page. Recycling. This is just a reminder that recycling for the City of Pensacola sanitation customers is temporarily on hold due to significant damage from Hurricane Sally at the ECUA recycling facility. Recycling for the City of Pensacola customers will not be taking place. For your brown can, you can take it out this week and we will pick it up. But please understand, I know some people are very sensitive and want the brown can to be recycling. I would not take it to the street. If you take it to the street, we will empty it for you, but it will be going in the garbage as of this particular time. So if you want to get your brown can emptied, please take it out there. Reminder that on Wednesday, we will be picking up Monday and Tuesday routes, And on Thursday, we'll be back picking up Wednesday and Thursday routes. So if you have not taken your brown can to the street, you are more than welcome to do so. But realize when you take the brown can to the street now, it will be picked up by the trash because there is no recycling facility to go to. City of Pensacola customers are asked to only use the black cans after that until further notice, since the materials will not be recyclable. However, if you have your tan can, you can bring it this week and we will get it picked up. Recycling is expected to resume in late October, but will be dependent upon the repairs to the facility that are completed by ECUA and are, to accept recyclable materials. At 2 o'clock, I was on a Teams meeting with Florida Department of Transportation, along with many of the other jurisdictional governments. I saw Commissioner Berry on there talking about the bridge and planning for what's going on. The city of Pensacola has a facility for docking where the ferries are. We are more than happy to use that in some way for some kind of a ferry service, and we mentioned that to DOT. It's going to take us about 2 weeks to get it fixed and repaired. We are beginning that process right now of trying to get contractors to do it. So I think probably in about 2.5 weeks we should have this thing up and running, at least ready to receive ships. The only other thing at this particular time, if there are private charter boats and things that want to take something, they could go into pit slip. Obviously, that's the only other, at this point, facility that necessarily has boat facilities that are open at this particular time. But we do expect to have Competencia slip back up in about 2 weeks, and we are working with FDOT. They indicated there were about 5 spans that were totally damaged, but they also have other ones that they're still assessing the damage on. They did not have a time yet for us, but they will continue to work with it. Right now, they're trying their best to figure out the best way to do the route around, but we are looking at other options. Ferries are included. Thank you. Oh, and I will get Todd Thompson.
Todd Thompson, President and CEO of the Greater Pensacola Chamber of Commerce. Just briefly, as we are now assessing damage to homes and businesses, if you have received damage, please take a picture, take some video, and send it to us at news@pensacolachamber.com with pictures, photos, and your address. Once again, the email address, news@pensacolachamber.com, any damage that you received at your home or your business. And also, please fill out, if you have a business that was impacted or damaged, fill out the Florida business survey at floridadisaster.biz. It's floridadisaster.biz. That'll help us get some economic impact resources in our community quicker. Thank you.
Okay, just a few more closing comments. So the Citizens Information Line is still available, and that is 850-471-6600, and then you may also call 211. I have heard those folks on the phone with individuals, and they've been doing a really good job of just trying to help people through this particular situation. We do encourage you to continue to find or follow myescambia.com/storm center or the Be Ready Escambia Facebook and Twitter sites. We did mention yesterday that due to Hurricane Sally, we had moved our CARES Family Emergency Grant funding to this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And so if you do have utilities back on, I hope you are able to apply for that particular grant, and you can get there from our myescambia.com. And then yesterday, I did have some good news. The Florida Department of Emergency Management awarded $10 million to Escambia County for a previous storm that we had had. The jail had an issue back in 2014, and we were awaiting their approval on that another $10 million. And so we have gotten that money. Now that money does go specifically to the jail construction that we currently have going on, but I did want to mention that we have received that, and that is a huge relief to us because we were nearing the last several months of that construction. So that is some good news that we have received. And I do thank Director Moskowitz and his team for helping us get that through FEMA. We have been working with them pretty diligently over the last couple of months, but when he was here the other day, we were actually able to ask him in person, and I appreciate them being able to help us with that. So with that, we'd be more than happy to answer questions.
Mr. Bender, do we have an update on the toll for Garcon Point yet?
We don't. I was on the phone with Alex Andrade, Representative Andrade, right before this. He feels confident that the governor's office will be putting something out, or FDOT be putting something out. But it is, of course, we realize how vital it is that toll remain lifted for the people that are using it every day. And of course, I'm familiar with the backups that occur if they had to stop and give cash to get through. So as Mayor Robinson was on that call earlier with FDOT, it is something that we are trying to work through to make that detour as painless as possible and get everyone to Pensacola or wherever they're going back home. Thank you.
Mayor, where's the debris being taken? That's being removed off the street?
Right now, we are creating collection sites that we are looking at. I know we were planning to take it over some fields we had that were at Vickery, but I think there's still some discussions going on with Matt Coughlin. If he's a little concerned, we'll see what we can do. But the preliminary plan was there were two, I think, soccer fields kind of in the back that we could take it to and at least hold it until we transfer it to where it's going. But that was what and the other place I think we were looking at was there is a place we have that we've done stuff before off the south runway off Summit behind sort of the old Fire Station 3. Back in there we have a transfer area. So we are looking at those places right now. I don't have the final destination of what's happening with the contractor that we have, but I can get that for you, and Casey, we can get that.
Has the base center or the current shelter been closed? And what are happening to those folks who are there at that time? Are they being given vouchers to a hotel, or are they being transported to another location?
So it's our understanding Red Cross is in charge of that particular process, and they were able to assist the 25 families this morning.
Baldwin County still has 11 pod sites open and operating. What was the decision process in closing the pods?
So I'm more than happy to answer that. I know that Mr. Gilmore's here if he needs to provide any context to what I may say. So that we've had the 7 pod sites, and those are typically a 72-hour post-storm. So you have the 72 hours are on you, and then the next 72 hours the state comes in and helps you. We have been monitoring those sites, and I was actually on the phone with Commissioner May this morning talking with him about it, and he said that his sites were looking very good. And as I mentioned, we do still have commodity that will be in the community, but typically those sites are for 72 hours after the first 72 that are on you.
So that's a state rule for the 72 hours?
I would say it's a policy that is a consideration. I would not say it's hard and fast. It also depends probably on the need and the demand. So, for example, in our community, our utilities have done a really good job of getting the utilities back up and going. And so once you start having businesses that are open and the opportunity for you to get access to those utilities, those businesses that can provide those commodities to you, that's typically when the state starts shutting them down.
Has all the barges been accounted for, and do we know if there's any additional damage?
So we have requested that FDOT provide us someone here or Skanska to answer those questions specifically to you. I know that the Pensacola News Journal did provide a graphic and a map. I was also made aware that there were also folks out there trying to remove some of the barges from underneath the bridges. But beyond that, I really don't have an official answer for you. But I definitely believe that the Department of Transportation and Skanska need to come to our community and answer those questions. That's important. We all have those questions about this, and we've not really had a lot of response from either of those entities.
Have we ever figured out how Alabama was been able to skip having the FEMA assessment team? in getting the major declaration?
So I wouldn't necessarily say that they've had a skip. I'm aware that they are having those assessments that are going on. One of the
They
things.
already have the declaration.
They do. They absolutely do. And I would say there are a couple of things that I would say are part of that consideration. If you all remember, this storm's path was the Mississippi, first it was Louisiana, then it was Mississippi, then it was Mississippi-Alabama border, then it was up the Mobile Bay. And so what happened was Kay Ivey did a pre-land declaration. And when you do that pre-landing declaration, that gets you a little bit ahead of the curve. And so that's what I would say would be one of the things that probably helped Alabama in this regard.
Janice, on the bridges, I was in that DOT call that they continue to be working on. They have been sending divers down to locate the rest of them to figure out what's there. It was good news and bad news on the part. One of the best news of all is the walking path is actually in very good shape. They still have yet to check the underneath, but they were surprised at how well. But remember, the walking path does not have any piers, so it was not hit in any way. It probably means if there had not been any barges, we probably would have sustained no damage with the hurricane, which is exactly what you want to hear from the bridge. But so that was the good news. The bad news is there are multiple barges that were sunk. They are continuing to work on those. There are some piers that have turned. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are beyond repair. They're still trying to assess that. So they had a good discussion with us. DOT at least talked to us today about a little bit about what they're working on. The big challenge they said, I think, is the wind had kicked up. I think that storm system that's coming through, and that had made it difficult for their divers, the dive teams, and really it's the support crew that they talked about that. So they still have a couple spots that they need to check, but they have found, they did find a couple of the barges that were submerged right there at the base, and they are working on that as we speak.
Sheriff, do you have any update on the missing person you mentioned yesterday, or any missing people from the storm?
We don't have any ID. I will confirm that we have recovered one male and one female body. They've yet to be determined as to who they are. Okay, they're at the medical examiner.
Do you know when that happened? Do you have a time frame?
Yes, yesterday and today.
This is for the health director. Do you know anything about the tetanus strike teams that are walking around? Are they just walking around looking for people that need tetanus shots, or can people, or there's designated areas that they are going to be?
They provided vaccines at the shelter yesterday and I believe this morning prior to the shelter closing. And then we are looking for a location over kind of on the west side, south end of the county in the low-lying areas to provide a point of distribution later this week. We also offer that vaccine in our facility by appointment, so people can call and schedule an appointment for a tetanus shot. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.